Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Monday Academy Workflow Builder webinar. My name is Omer, and I'm a training and certifications partner here at monday.com, and I'm a part of the Monday Academy team. Thank you all for joining. We're going to take 2 more minutes before we start as people are still joining. In the meantime, I'd love to know a little bit more about you guys and the industries we have here today. Please write your name, where you're from, and the industry you work in the chat box. While we're waiting, I'll also say that today's webinar will be broken down into two parts. The first half of the webinar will be a demo of the Monday Workflow Builder capabilities. This part will be pre-recorded to ensure everything runs smoothly and you get the most out of it. But worry not, I'm here during the entire webinar to answer your questions. The second half will be a live Q&A during which we'll answer additional questions and demonstrate a few more cool options and features. You should be able to see my screen, but if you can't hear me or see the screen at any point, just let me know in the chat. Okay, it's time to get going, and great to see people from so many industries and places. Now that I know you better, just a little bit about me. I started my journey with monday.com over 5 years ago. I never thought I'd work in tech. Before I worked in education and was even intimidated by technology, believe it or not. Since joining monday.com, I've improved my ability to identify pain points, and I enjoy improving processes and finding technological solutions. I guess that's something common to many of us here today, and we'll see how the workflow builder can make things even easier and faster for all of us. That's also why we have the Monday Academy. Our mission is to empower our customers with the knowledge and skills they need to make the most out of the platform through learning programs, certifications, and of course, sessions like this one. So with all that in mind, here's what we'll cover today. We'll start with a quick introduction to what the Monday Workflow Builder is and what it can do and how it fits into your existing workspace. Then we'll move on to building your first workflow step by step so you can see exactly how it works in action. From there, we'll explore workflow customization, how to tailor your workflows to your team's specific processes. Next, we'll take things up a notch with some advanced workflow capabilities that can help you automate even more complex scenarios. After that, we'll look into real use cases, how different teams are already using the workflow builder to save time and streamline work. We'll then wrap up the session with a live Q&A to stay tuned for that, and finally a quick summary and next steps before we close. But first, just a few quick housekeeping notes. If we ask a question, feel free to respond in the chat. If you have any questions at any time during the session, just pop them into the Q&A box and not into the chat. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible today, but if we don't get to yours, you can always reach out to our support team 24/7. And before we dive in, I want to start with a quick question. How many of you feel that your team could be operating more efficiently? Write me in the chat if you can relate. So just write me in the chat. So while you're writing, whether it's writing updates, sending reminders, copying information between boards, or just doing the same manual steps over and over, most teams spend more time managing their work than actually doing it. And that's exactly what we're here to change. In this session, we'll explore how the monday.com workflow builder can help reduce manual work, minimize human error, and free up your team to focus on the work that really matters. But before we start, let's take a moment to understand what the workflow builder actually is and why it's such a game changer. If you've ever built automations in Monday before, you already know how much they can simplify your day-to-day work. But as organizations grow, so do their processes. And those single board automations can quickly become complex, disconnected, and hard to maintain. That's exactly where the workflow builder comes in. It's monday.com's visual, intelligent workflow engine that lets you design, run, and scale business workflows across boards, teams, and even products, all from one intuitive visual canvas. Think of it as moving from automation to orchestration. bringing clarity, structure, and AI powered intelligence to even the most complex processes. With the Workflow Builder, teams can visually map and manage workflows across board and departments, build faster using natural language prompts, automate multi step logic with ease, and gain full visibility and governance over how work happens. In short, it helps you standardize processes, automate at scale, and stay in control while all while working smarter and faster. And the best part, it's all built right inside monday.com, fully connected to your data, context, and teams, so there's no need for complicated integrations or external tools. Now, to show you what this actually looks like in action, I'm thrilled to introduce Maor Nakash, a senior product manager in the Workflow Builder team, who will walk us through how to create and run powerful workflows using this tool. So, Maor, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Omer. So my name is Maor, and I'm a product manager at Monday for the past 3 years, and I'm leading the Workflow Builder. I joined the Autopilot team 3 years ago, and when I joined, Workflow Builder was not exist. So we basically build the Workflow Builder from scratch, and I will guide you in Workflow Builder and build with you the first workflow so you'll understand the power and how Workflow Builder can ease your day-to-day job and business processes. Workflow Builder is account level product that serves today enterprise accounts and pro accounts and solve you a lot of business processes and common use cases that cannot be solved without Workflow Builder. You will see in a second a lot of examples for how Workflow Builder is helping you improve and boost your day-to-day. The power of Workflow Builder is that it's account level product and crossing your whole organization. You can build workflows from the board level to the workspace level and even to the product level and build use case that can cross all over your account, starting from one product, crossing to another product, and basically control your entire use cases from the easiest one to the most complex. As Monday grows and serve a lot of customers, the customers getting bigger and bigger, and their processes are getting more complex. Those are only examples that you can see for each Monday product that are really common, and we see a lot among our customers. But those use cases can also cross between the products. For example, lead generation process that starts from CRM can turn into a deal in work management and then can turn into a development project within Monday Dev. So you can see here only on examples that can be really complex for bigger companies and for enterprise accounts, and also for companies that just managing complex processes on their day-to-day. Now I want to jump into the demo because I want to show you the Workflow Builder and be as practical as we can so you will see how Workflow Builder works. And I really welcome you and encourage you to try out Workflow Builder because the experience is intuitive and can help you and your customers enjoy the benefit and the power of Workflow Builder and improve your day-to-day. So let's take an example, as we are a project management company that managing projects for our day-to-day. The project, when some leads and prospects are started, I want to give you an example of a lead generation flow. Let's say that in our company, leads are coming in, lead can turn into a deal, and lead can be non-qualified and turn into a cold lead. And once lead become into a deal, when the deal is signed off, the project starts and the company is managing the project. This is only an example, but we see it a lot and this is a very common one. Here you can see on the left panel that this simple process is managing 4 different boards. The leads board, a board for cold leads, a board for deals, and board for projects. And all of this process, this lead generation flow from the lead to the project is managing on a single workflow. In one place, you can see the entire flow, you can manage it, you can see it visually and chronologically, and control your processes much easier. And now I want to dive into the process and show you step by step how it works. Let's say that leads can comes in from a form or manually by adding some item. Let's say that leads come through a form. I am adding a lead, adding the company name. If I want to give a status, I can give the lead status as qualified or not qualified, and I want to bring leads info. When I enter the leads comes in with the information, and then the workflow starts. You can see here the first step that's starting the workflow, when item is created. Here, I want to start the workflow only when item is created on the leads board. And once the item is created, the workflow starts, and then the next step I want to do, I want to analyze the leads info. So for that, I used an AI block, the AI block that called custom AI prompt, that take all the lead information, analyze it, and gives this lead a score. Because based on this score, I want to do different things. If the score is high, I want to do one thing, but if the score is low, I want to do an entire other flow. So when I'm analyzing the lead score, this is how it looks. I give an instructions to the AI block. You can see here, and this is another powerful thing in Workflow Builder, that the block name is Analyze Leads Score. I changed the block name because I can rename any block in Workflow Builder and personalize the process so it will be an understandable story. That I'm building a workflow, it's not only visual and chronological, it's also a storytelling that it's easy to read. Because if I'm building a workflow that today I'm building it, but I want to remember in 2 months from now, what am I building, I can just read the workflow and it will be much easier for me. So in this case, I gave instructions to the workflow, to the AI block that says, take all the information from column lead info and analyze it if the lead is worth reaching out. And please return the result between 1 to 100, when obviously 100 is the highest score and 1 is the lowest. And then I want to move on. This block, the converter, is another powerful block because the output of the analysis of the lead score is a text. But maybe I want to take this score. Let's say the score was 60, and I want to take this score and I want to put it into a number column, because then I want to build a whole dashboard of the scores of all my leads in the previous month. I want to be able to take a text and convert it. So we have two powerful converters in Workflow Builder: convert text to a number and also convert text to a date. In this example, I'm using the converter from text to number. And you can see here that I'm adding the value of the output from the previous step here and convert it into a number. Now the score that I'm holding is a number, and I'm easily updating the lead score column with the relevant value. This is how it looks. On the lead score, I'm taking on the lead information and eventually put the final score that the AI gives to the lead score column. Now I have a score on every lead that comes in. And now I want to move on, and I'm adding a condition. I'm adding a condition if the score is above 80, because this is what I want to configure and differentiate between the leads. Because above 80, it's a good lead for me and I want to work with it. And below 80, I want to put it in a cold leads and maybe to come after that and work with this lead and warm it up again. So let's take the path of when I added the condition on the board leads, and within the board leads, I want to check if in the column lead score, the value there is greater than 80. This is the case I put, but I could put any number here. By the way, if I will enter the editor mode, just to show you the capabilities, sorry about that, the internet connection. If I'm entering to the edit mode, and I want to show you the capabilities that we have within the condition, you can see that you have a lot of different capabilities that you can use. I'm entering again to the condition of the lead score, and you can see here that I can choose the column that I wanna choose, and then I can differentiate between which condition I want to take. If this number, the value within the column is equal to something, not equal, greater than, lower than, less than. So we have a bunch of capabilities that we can do on the condition. In my case, I took the is greater than, and the value that I put is 80. Let's take the no path, meaning that the score lead is below 80. If it's below 80, I want to update a column. I want to update the column. You can see here again, I changed the name to update lead status. It's not the original block name. This is a block name that I renamed for my convenience. You will always see on the configuration panel the original name of the block, so you will remember it. So I used the change column value block and basically changed the name. And here I want to change the column lead status to needs nurturing, because the score was not high based on the AI analysis, and I don't want to process this lead. After that, I want to notify the SDR. I want to tell the SDR about this lead, that it's not relevant and it's not qualified at the moment, and then to create item in the cold leads board. This is another board. It's not the leads board. And what is the power of Workflow Builder? Part of the flexibility that Workflow Builder gives is that the item on the cold leads can be on a board on the entire account. In this case, the cold leads is on my workspace on the same product, but this cold lead can be another team that lands on Monday Dev or Monday CRM when I'm working on Monday Work Management. This is how Workflow Builder is flexible. Then I used another powerful block, and it's the wait. Wait block. We have two types of wait blocks within Workflow Builder. The delay one, which I used here, which is stop and wait for a certain time, or the wait for action, which is stop in the middle of the workflow and wait for a manual action that I want to wait from other person or for myself. Let's say the lead should have a status that need to be changed manually, but by someone else, by one of my colleagues. I want to wait in the middle of the process and wait for this action. In this case, I want to wait with this cold lead for 60 days. And after 60 days, I want to send another notification to the SDR that says 60 days were passed since the lead marked as cold. It's time to reach out again. Maybe this cold lead can be warm up again and be relevant for us. Now, let's take the path of the yes, meaning the lead score is above 80. In this case, I want to add another condition that says if the lead marked as qualified or not. Let's take the happy path, when the lead is qualified. So if the lead is qualified, I want to move the lead, first of all, for my convenience, to the relevant group. I'm managing a group of qualified leads. You can see it on the leads board. Every lead that comes in, if the lead is qualified, is moving on to the qualified leads. So I want to move the lead to the qualified leads and then to create a new deal. Creating a new deal, it's creation on another board, the board of the deals. Again, could be all over the account, could be in a different product, different team, a different department. When I'm creating this deal will be created on the deals board, on the group of the new deal. And then I want to work on this deal and decide if the deal is closed won or closed lost. So moving back to the workflow, after I'm creating the new deal, I want to change the status to new opportunity because no one worked on this deal yet. Then I'm adding another super powerful block within Workflow Builder, which is the connect board block. Because with this block, you can connect between two items and two sub-items and make them connected and reflect data between them. In this case, when I'm creating a new deal, I want to keep the connection to the lead that comes in initially and turn to a deal. So I use this block, the connect boards block, and I'm configuring what is the source board that you want to look at. So the source is the lead one and the item that created on step 1. Here you can see which step is referring to. The step 1, you remember that the step 1 was the creation of the lead. So once this item and this lead created, I want to connect the new deal to this lead. So I will know that this lead that has a lot of information on the lead, on the specific lead on the leads board, I want to reflect this data on the deals board on the specific deal. So the source is the lead and the destination is the new deal. And the column, I'm using the connect board column and I'm choosing the column name that I want to reflect there the connection. Let's see how it looks. This is the deals board, and here is the column leads and deal connected column, connected boards column. In this case, I used it in order to reflect data from the leads board that I don't see here, which is the lead score, because I want to remember on every deal what is the score that initially gave by the AI to this lead, but I could reflect any data from the leads board due to this connection. Super powerful. Then I'm changing the column value because I want to take all the lead info that land on the lead and put it on the deal. I could do it with the connected board as well and just reflect this data from the leads board. But I just took this data and replicate it into the deals board to the relevant column. Then I'm assigning a deal owner. I want to assign an owner that will start work on this deal, notify this deal owner that new deal arrives and they need to work on it. And then I'm using again the wait. But now I'm using the wait block for an action and not a time. If on the cold lead I use the wait block in order to wait for 60 days, here I want to wait until status is changing. Which status? On the status column, and I want to wait for any change on this status. I could choose that it won't be any change on the column. I could choose that the status column only if the status changed to closed won, only then I want to move on in the wait block. But in this example, I want to change the status, any status that will comes in, because the deal's owner is now need to work on this deal and I'm waiting for him to change the status and decide what is the final decision about this deal, if the deal is closed won or closed lost. One of the powerful things, and I will zoom out a bit so you will see one of the powerful things of the wait block is the time expired branch. This one is Monday patent. You won't see this capability on any other competitor, meaning that you can wait for some action, decide what is the time frame that you want to wait. In this case, I want to wait for 10 days. But what happened if 10 days were passed and the owner of the deal is out of office and nobody is taking the action for the 10 days? So in this case, I want to decide to do something else. I want to open this branch. I don't want to stop the workflow. I want to do something else and open entire branch. In this case, I only added notification for the deal owner that reminds him about the deal, but this branch can be a whole workflow that leads for a different workflow on another board, on another product. So in the happy path that the deal's owner made the decision, I wanna ask a condition, what was the decision? If it's closed won or closed lost. So in this condition, I wanna take the condition on the deals board, on the item of the deal that created. How do I know that this is the item, the deal that was created? Because I'm configuring it here, the item from step 8, the step of create new deal. This is why dynamically I'm keeping the connection between the deal that was created and the condition that I now want to ask the question on. So in this condition, I'm asking, all right, on the deals board, on the relevant deal that was created in this workflow, take a look on the status column and tell me if the status is closed won, do something. If it's closed lost, do something else. If the deal closed won, I want to move the item to the relevant group of the closed won group. And then I want to create a new project because now the deal is becoming a customer. So I'm creating a new project on the portfolio project, on the portfolio board, creating a new project, and the team start working on it. This is the end of this use case, but this use case could continue for an endless blocks on the entire organization. Another thing about Workflow Builder, and I give you another example that is not the lead generation. This is another example of a complex workflow. Let's take, for instance, an Apple store, an Apple retail store, and request and approval process that people are trying to submit requests to open Apple stores for the entire UK and decide between a store and between a pop-up. And they request for opportunities to open new Apple stores during this process. I won't go over this process step by step, just to show you the power of Workflow Builder. Here is a process of 4 different boards, even 5, and the whole process and connection to portfolio and the connection between those boards happening on a single workflow. This is how the workflow is look like. Become a bit more complex, but this is how Workflow Builder is. It's solving entire processes within your organization. Process can be easy and solved with Workflow Builder as well, and can be super complex and be solved with Workflow Builder. I want to take you to the basics and show you that Workflow Builder is really easy to use. This is how new workflow looks like. You can build workflow from the plus button. Same as you create a board or a doc or a dashboard, you can create a workflow. Once you click on it, you're selecting the name, click create, that's it. You land on this page. Let me just hide this one. And once the workflow is created, it guides you in gradual complexity to build a workflow together with you. Here's an example of a workflow that I want to build, and I want to show you even that you can build your workflow with AI. We have the prompt to workflow capability that even helps you if you have the logic of the business process on your mind, but you don't know how to start, just write it down. Here's an example. I want to build a ticketing process, so when new ticket is submitted, I'm checking his priority, and based on that, assigning the relevant people and move the ticket to the relevant group. Just a generic prompt that landing on my mind to managing all my tickets. Click and generate. Few seconds, and the Workflow Builder helps me start the process. Give me the initiate workflow, and then I can move from this point and start configuring the workflow, moving on and increasing the workflow and build an entire process. Two powerful things that are coming up within Workflow Builder and coming up by the end of this quarter. First of all, is we are doubling down on AI capabilities. Not only AI blocks that already exist within Workflow Builder, those are two powerful capabilities that we are getting live by the end of the quarter. On the left side, the agent block. We are adding a new agent block that is in alpha version already now in production. By the end of the year, will be released in MVP to customers. In this block, basically the agent block is a smart block. Within a single block, you give an instructions to the block, and based on these instructions and some skills, some tools that you want to connect to this block, let's say the Google Calendar tool, you can guide the process and guide the block to do the work for you. For example, I want to book a recurring one-on-one meeting between me and my manager. But every week, I want the block to find the available time that both of us are available. This is the power of agent block compared to regular blocks. In this case, the agent block, I give him the instructions to book one-on-one meeting between me and my manager. Here is my email. Here is my manager's email, and I will connect him the Google Calendar tool with my Google Calendar credentials. Then the input is static. It's the same instructions, but the output could be dynamic. This is basically the whole story of AI agent. The output is dynamic. In 1 week, the one-on-one meeting will be Monday morning. In another week, it will be Wednesday evening, because this is the availability that both of us are sharing. On the right side, you see that we have workflows, Monday Sidekick all over Monday. And now we're taking Monday Sidekick into the Workflow Builder. We take Sidekick, control the Workflow Builder, and helps you create workflows, adding and removing blocks, configuring blocks, consulting with the Monday Sidekick on the workflow, optimize it, and even summarize it. Meaning that in a simple conversation, you can build entire workflow that can be also a complex one, much easier, and it's reducing and lowering down the tech-savvy capabilities that you need to bring to Workflow Builder in order to work with this product. By finalizing that, I'm moving back to Omer. Omer, the stage is yours. Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Maor. That was incredibly insightful. I think we all learned just how powerful the Workflow Builder really is and how it can transform the way teams work together across Monday, from building cross-board workflows to automating complex processes with just a few clicks and even AI assistance. There's so much potential here to save time and reduce manual work. So let me just share my screen again. And here we go. Now, if you want to deepen your understanding and knowledge of the Monday Workflow Builder even more so you and your team can reduce as much manual work as possible, I'd recommend taking the Monday Academy's Workflow Builder lesson to receive an official badge you can add to your professional profiles. I shared the lesson in the chat as well, but we will also follow up with a link to the lesson alongside a recording of today's session shortly after the webinar ends. Now, let's move to our live Q&A session. We're going to take 1 minute to take a sip of water and we'll start. So thank you for attending this part, and now moving to the live Q&A part of the webinar.